Yeah, sure. Let's just do that. And we're live streaming this event up here, so if you want to be famous, you just have to dive in front of the camera.
I grew up in Italy and I moved to the United States when I was 19. I got my degree in computer engineering from the University of South Florida. And after that, I worked at an agency, a creative agency doing website designs. They started with Drupal and WordPress as well, and then we moved into Drupal. So I did about 2 or 3 years there. And then my wife and I moved to Colorado, where I had a few more years of experience in web. My latest job before starting Ascend was a developer at United Health Group, where then I grew into development manager, where I was managing about 20 people, a mix of developers, QAs, product managers. We didn't work as much in Drupal there. Did a lot of Ruby and Rails, so I have a lot of experience with that as well, if anyone has questions later. So overall, yeah, I've been programming all my life. I have about 6 years of experience in Drupal itself, though. A little bit about Ascend. We're a creative digital agency based out of Denver, right on 16th Street. We started this agency with Chad and Gregory last year. Things are doing great. We specialize mostly in branding, website design, with that conversion optimization, and we also do integrated campaigns. We believe that every customer and every brand should have our full attention. Therefore, we create our business model to be that every one of our teams focuses exclusively on one client at a time. And as far as we know, I think we're the only agency in the world that does this. It's pretty cool. But today I'm going to be talking about Drupal, right? So what is Drupal? Drupal is a CMS, content management system, just like WordPress. It was developed by developers, meant to be open source, still open source. It's free. It's been out for quite a while, though they just launched their 8th version just a few months ago. Before that, version 7, it's been stable for quite a while. That's what we use until we go to 8. So who uses Drupal? All right, there's a lot of companies, a lot of websites, a lot of schools use Drupal. A few names out here: the White House. Petro Obama came to office when they redesigned it. They used Drupal. Twitter's developer site uses Drupal. The Weather Channel. A few schools like South Carolina, Harvard, and a few others. I have a friend that works at NREL. He's a security guy. They use a lot of Drupal sites for their sites. Top reasons why I and most Drupal developers or people that use Drupal like Drupal is number one, security. I think this is the most well-known thing that differentiates Drupal versus WordPress. It's at least, I haven't used Drupal in quite a while, but back in the day when I used it, security was one of the biggest flaws. I'm sure they've worked hard on that, but I believe Drupal is still better at that aspect. It's built by developers for developers, so you can't download Drupal and think that you're going to be able to use it and build a site. If you're not a developer, it's going to be really hard. So everything from the backend to the code, was meant for developers to look at it and improve on it, right? So it makes it really easy for developers to actually understand everything makes sense. Number 3 is flexibility and maintainability. Flexible because and I know there's not a lot of developers in this room, but a lot of the modules and plugins, they're all built on each other. More than having someone build a module standalone and then somebody else building something else that may do the same thing as the other one, they're all kind of stacked on top of each other, right? So everyone that develops a plugin, if there's something they can use under to make it better, more stable, they do. That's very easy to maintain, especially some of the hosting platforms out there. They run updates with one click. Open source and robust. Open source, just like WordPress, robust because every developer module goes through a rigorous review process before it even gets as a live production ready module. Developers, if there's something wrong with it, they fix it, and it won't go to production until it's ready. Again, with the security in mind, that's one of the reasons why they do that. So we're well contributed. I think there's about 1 million users and 100,000 people that contribute to Drupal. And its modules. How most sites are built. This one was Drupal itself works with nodes and blocks, which kind of nodes you can think of them pages or blog articles or products. Blocks are more small pieces of content that you can move around different regions of the page, right? You can start a page, have a block that shows form. You can reuse it across multiple pages. So that, like I said, build on top of nodes. So a content type could be a blog article, could be a product, could be a student, right? Anything that your website has that doesn't conform to a regular page. So each content type has its own fields, like if it's a student, it could be the name of the student, their profession after school, their biography, their picture. So that's kind of how the websites get built. It's very similar to WordPress, as I've seen. And views are how those content types are showed on the website. This again was more for developers, but don't have to look at all of this. But pretty much you have, as a developer, it's really nice because you have a UI to create all those views. So an example could be the blog page, right? It's a list of all the blog articles. So for us, it's really easy because I can go there and create a really fast listing of any type of page that I want. So this is plain Drupal 7. When you download and install it, it looks like this. It looks horrible. It's ugly. It's bare bones. It's plain. Though it was kind of meant to be like that because Drupal is more of a platform to build upon. It's not itself a website yet, right? So it provides all the components, or the minimum amount of components, to build a really good website. And that's why it's so minimal, because the website might not need one of the features that it might be in there. So they really wanted to limit it down to make it small. We in a sense customize it, thinking about our customers in mind, so people that are editing the website, because it's really easy for me to go in and change stuff, but when I give it to a client, right, I either write a lot of documentation how to edit the website, or I can make it extremely easy so that when they go in, it's intuitive, they don't break the site, they don't call us and say, I changed something, broke it, fix it. So a few things that we did to improve on Drupal. Firstly is the backend. Drupal's backend looks pretty bad when you first download it, so we've installed some of the modules that are out there, some themes. some of the WYSIWYGs, some of which are the kind of your Word text editors. On top of that, I built a tool called Quick Edit, which is a way to quickly edit the website from the front end, so that, say you're changing a background position, you can see how it looks against the background instead of going in the back end. So that would be the back end, right? So you can't really see how it looks on the website live. You have to rely on your WYSIWYG to change things, and then when you save it, you'll see it. But so I'll show you a quick demo of Quick Edit here. So this is our latest client, Ernie. So I'm going to edit the banner. So as you can see, I'm just editing in the page. So it's extremely easy. There's a small WYSIWYG there. We can bold, underline. It's really meant for small changes. Edit the padding of how big those blocks are, and then you can change background pictures very easily. It's pretty cool. So lastly, yeah, I mean, as an introduction, Drupal is a platform. Not a lot of themes out there. You can just download and plug and play. You know, it's really a lot to build upon. So if you're thinking about something custom, something that is robust, fast, and will last you a while, it's more, I hate using the word enterprise, but enterprise ready, it's the way to go. So.
Yes.
We'll see that okay? All right, so a little bit about me. I am Nate Porter, and CEO of WannaPixel. We've created a couple of cool products like for people for WordPress. I'm a recovering corporate journalist. I spent about 10 years in enterprise IT and software development. You can always hear all the wonderful insights that I have do on Twitter or www.greenvision.com is my blog. So a little bit about WordPress for nonprofits. So I'm just going to try to go over this pretty quickly. This is just a quote by Matt Mullenweg, who's the founder of WordPress technology. It's at its best when it brings people together. And that's sort of, I think, kind of a guiding principle for overall the WordPress community and how they try to be very inclusive and in a way that they bring people along with the platform, take their input and sort of thing. So a little bit about WordPress. So WordPress powers 25% of the entire internet. So It's a pretty substantial number. This is from w3text.com, and you can certainly go there and check out that and see sort of the progress of that. The good news is, if you take a look at this, so this is the most popular content management systems. The top 3 are all open source, so there's certainly a way for open source. Yes.
What's the other 60%?
Proprietary systems, custom coded, websites, that sort of thing. So a couple of great things about WordPress is they have a large community of support, and what that means is for somebody who's just starting out or somebody who's learning the system as they go. There's lots of free support out there, forums, Facebook groups where you can ask questions and get help with things. And the other good thing about it too is because there's multiple millions of sites using these different tools, a lot of times if you're having an issue, someone else has had it before you, and there's, you can just search and find an answer to the problem you had, which is great. WordPress has come a long way when it comes to security in the last year. So if you can kind of imagine a platform that powers 25% of the internet, there's millions and millions and millions of these sites out there. And in the past, WordPress has had an issue in that a lot of the sites are in older versions. They don't really have a mechanism to bring them up to current standards. And so as they release patches, those vulnerabilities become exposed. And a lot of those older sites that may not have been being maintained became vulnerable to issues. So they've changed a lot. They've put together a really strong security team in the past year. The security team includes people who give advice to some of the top government agencies like the NSA and the White House. And what they've done is they put a mechanism in place, and they've worked very closely with hosting providers to bring a lot of those older sites up to current standards. And they've done a lot of testing in the meantime to make sure that those automatic updates or forced updates and break things along the way. What you may notice if you run a WordPress website is that recently, as security patches are released, the site builder gets an email saying your site was updated to X version, and if you have any problems, go to the WordPress forum. So they're kind of taking an approach that I think one of the mantras in the WordPress community is decisions, not options. And so the idea is what's best for the majority of people, what's best for the 80 to 90%, and that's the path they sort of take. So a little bit about WordPress. So WordPress is trusted by some of the top nonprofit organizations. Smithsonian National Institute has some of their museum sites on WordPress. Cherry Water, Tech for Denver, Cure, Global Voices, which is an international organization that serves about 40 different countries and languages. They have 2,500 journalists that contribute in all different languages to the website, and it all comes together in one sort of interface. The Library of Congress, StoryCorps. So a couple interesting things. So most of you are probably really interested in sort of how does WordPress work for you, for your basic sort of nonprofit website. But there are some cool other things that are happening where WordPress is being used as a back-end sort of database to power other tools. Things like apps, things like other websites, that sort of thing. So StoryCorps is an interesting example of that. How many of you are familiar with StoryCorps? Have you ever heard of it? Okay, cool.
The NPR.
Okay. So StoryCorps worked with a WordPress agency to create kind of archives of these stories can be searched and can be viewed, that sort of thing. going through the JSON REST API, which is something that would take me a whole day to explain, you still don't understand. But so what is Microsoft Dynamics AX? It's a platform that is built as so that can increase the speed of doing business, deliver amazing work smarter with this process. So on the back end, they have in multiple languages that are contributing content to this platform. Thousands and thousands of pieces of content, posts, and that sort of thing are submitted through this and translated into 29 languages through WordPress. And then that's passed through the REST API with OAuth authorization and a token, and that gets displayed on the front end, which is the Microsoft developed platform, Microsoft Dynamics. And so they're using it as a content management system for their platform, and it's being bridged through their security platform. A little bit about WordPress, and this is more practical for those of you who are using WordPress or WordPress. WordPress has a great selection. These are highlighted, in my opinion, the world's simplest to use, yet most robust and flexible donation form tool. Allows you to create any type of donation form. You can create campaigns where you have a goal that you're looking to hit, and it will show you your progress towards that goal and that sort of thing. Gravity Forms is a robust form building tool with lots of integrations to other platforms. For People is our simple CRM tool for WordPress through the WordPress dashboard. The events calendar is what we're using on the new Tech for Good website to process event registrations, tickets, and all that sort of thing. So what's interesting is all four of these tie together. So there's sort of this idea of building on top of each other. Uku People, the CRM tool, integrates with Give to collect donation data and create contact forms, that kind of thing. Same with Gravity Forms and same with events, and all kind of pulls back in the same system. A little bit about WordPress. The admin dashboard is fairly simple and easy to use. You have kind of your main menu on the left here where you can see your different sort of categories like events, forums, people, news and resources, that kind of thing. And then on your home dashboard, you have these dashlets where you can kind of see from an administrative standpoint what's happening with your website, with your organization. So a couple of things have been continually sort of improving with WordPress. And one of them is the default built-in front-end site customizer. So here's kind of the customization panel on the left, and you can see, here's our top header image. I can select a different image to go there easily and visually see how it looks before I save it and push it live. So another quote, and then then I'm done. We can do some debate questions. If you think of the ideas of open source applied to information in an encyclopedia, you get Wikipedia. Lots and lots of small contributions that bubble up to something that's meaningful. Again, by that moment. I think the win here, or the sort of impressive thing, is that here right now today, this debate is about two open source platforms. We're talking about open source versus something that Microsoft has built or something that someone else has built. This is where we're at today, which is great.
All right. Yeah. Do something on the screen. All right. Thank you for those introductions. I'm feeling warmed up and ready to ask you some hard questions. So, you ready? All right. So, my first question is that the saying goes that for anything in life, you can get it fast, you can get it done well, or you can get it cheap, but you only get two of those things. But I don't know how it works at your organization, but in my organization, you still got to do all three. So for someone that wants all three, how does that work with your platform? How can you get a website on WordPress or Drupal? What are the benefits to your platform if you need something fast and well done and cheap? Or is it just a lot of stuff?
So I can answer first. I think that all of those terms are relative. So,
sure.
You know, cheap as opposed to buying something from, one of these other closed source providers like maybe Blackbot or something like that. It's all a relative term. So, if you would have paid $50,000 there and now you're looking at something here, you can certainly get up and going and start with something that's that's good for you. That's relatively inexpensive. I don't think in reality that probably that's possible. But again, it's relative. So if you want something today, or if you're thinking, well, it would be a 6-month process with X company, here I can get it 2 months. With WordPress, certainly there's a plethora of themes out there. There's thousands of providers that are willing to come alongside you and help you with it. It's to install it initially takes 5 minutes with almost any host that's out there. So certainly you can get up and going really quickly with that.
Okay. So Nate says not possible.
I would have to agree. I mean, there's a reason why that saying is like that, right? Because you can't get all three. Obviously, it depends like where you are now and where you're trying to go. If you're trying to get something fast and cheap, you might be able to do it, but it's not going to be as good of a quality as it could be, right? So if you're trying to convert people to do something, it's not going to convert. So really, even with Drupal, I would say WordPress has definitely more themes available that are quicker to install to have just a generic website. So I think the question is, I don't think it's possible.
All right, you can come back and tell my boss.
I think the other thing too,
website for a course I'm on in Drupal, and I didn't do a very good job. And it was really hard for our people other than me to figure out how to update the text. I'm wondering if that got better, if WordPress is better, what do y'all think?
So I have to be honest, I haven't been in WordPress in a long time. I looked at it a few months ago just to prepare for this. And definitely the back end looks better. It's certainly easy for Drupal. You can't get it out of the box. You're asking.
Both of you. I want you to argue. That's what I'm really looking for.
I can start. Again, I think it really depends on the agency who's developing the website.
Oh, yes.
Right. I mean, you can, again, like I said, if you bring it just Drupal out of the box, it's not going to be good. But if you're getting someone that is experienced, I think they're going to do both like a tremendous job, whether it's WordPress or Drupal. I think it's really up to who's doing the site, not like the platform you're on.
Right, and I think it comes down to the feature set too, because you know, if you're looking, sure. I mean, WordPress has a pretty wide variety of both, you know, default built-in import export tools and also third-party ones. And so once you kind of have your site structure in place, as long as you can get the content out of the other system easily, as long as it's, you know, as long as it's in a readable format, importing it is something that an end user could do with the tools that are out there.
Yeah, Drupal provides a few different modules. There's one module called Migrate that's kind of like the main.
A third party, like how do they do
To the project, it really is. You know, anybody can suggest can contribute to it. Anybody can say, hey, I think this would be an improvement, or here's a bug I found I'd like to, you know, report a fix for it. And so there's, you know, thousands and thousands of developers that are providing that input back to the community.
Right. Yeah, and there's also you can, as a company, as an agency, you can sign up to be kind of a promoter agency for Drupal or like WordPress or something similar. So you have to contribute a certain amount of money per year, right? It's a subscription to be a part. Because they want something more secure cost. That's why will run fine. Would run fine. As companies scale, or organizations scale and get larger and larger, and say they go from local to national to global, which platform can handle that kind of traffic best?
I mean, they both run PHP. So in terms of language, they're the same speed. If you think about the CMS, which is this application on top of the language, probably they both run similar speeds. So it's really, you should choose a hosting platform that specializes in hosting Drupal or WordPress that really maximizes your the amount of traffic you can get to the website, so that it's dynamic, so that you can you can choose an Amazon S3 platform and do this whole custom developed hosting provider, or you can go with something like what we use is Pantheon, which you can select different packages depending on the amount of traffic you want, and they do a really good job of scaling up and down. So I think whether you choose, it's best to choose. You got to be careful with the hosting provider you choose more than the CMS that you choose.
One thing that's interesting. So WordPress.com, if you're familiar with it, is the blogging platform. It's you sign up, you pay, whatever. That's one instance of WordPress that's running millions of websites and gets billions of hits a day, and it runs flawlessly. And one thing that both platforms are exploring and pursuing is implementing more, efficient languages like JavaScript, that sort of thing into their platforms. And so both of them perform well at scale as long as the environment is right. WordPress often gets a bad rap because it has such a low barrier to entry, such a low bar, that anybody can go to any shared hosting platform and by themselves spin up a version of WordPress, and it may not be adequate to scale with them if they don't increase their hosting platform and that sort of thing.
And also, like if you're hiring a developer, there's more of a junior developer and it's doing something completely custom for you, or they write some database code that is it's not
One is that because it's such a large community, there are some platforms that have been custom website that has something that's tailored specifically to it, maybe a modified theme or something like
choose WordPress or Drupal, but you in addition to a custom developed website, you get custom developed modules tailored to your company, whether you need a complete system on the back end where you need integration with other tools or APIs. That's probably what you need.
All right, I'm just gonna keep going then. Since we're being so friendly today, what is the best thing about your competitors' CMS?
I'll start. The backend is really nice. Everything looks very clean, very uniform. Whether you're looking at WordPress itself or the plugins that are developed on WordPress, everything kind of feels unified and where it should be. As well as, I think WordPress is going at a much faster pace than Drupal is. A lot more developers, a lot more websites. I believe they probably have a little more budget to invest on their website, their developer website, making everything look really good, keeping up with the technology and always having the latest JavaScript library running on the back end or on the front end. So I think it's nice that it's going at a faster pace. Drupal is a little more conservative, I would say, on their upgrades, and it takes a bit of a longer time based on their security implementation, just the way they go.
So when we're looking to do a very specific set of tasks, we'll go often in the direction of Drupal. That is anytime we're looking to have advanced levels of role and user permission targeting. If we're looking to do content automation, where content is displayed based on its popularity or that sort of thing. If we're looking to do specific and advanced geo-targeting, so content is displayed based on a certain geographic area that the person is visiting from, that sort of thing. Those sort of things tend to have some more robust capability built in with Drupal, or easy to kind of hook into with Drupal. That's where we go with it.
All right, well, if no one has any more debate questions, then I think we can offer them a minute to give some closing statements and we'll call it a debate.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you want to go with the path of Drupal, it's because you really need something that is extremely custom. You don't want your basic template or a template, or just if it's building on top more than just a website, more than just a marketing tool. If it goes into more of an app style or something very specific, just of programming where it's really hard and has to be really customized, I think Drupal is.
Of things. So where people are saying, okay, this niche needs a specific set of features, we're going to create a product out of it that's based on WordPress that has that feature set that can be affordable to people in that niche. The other thing that I think is very interesting is seeing WordPress as a engine on the back end, which is what some of the examples that I mentioned. How apps power up. WordPress has really put a lot of effort into their API, and they're continuing to